Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Do a little season debrief, I guess.
Excited. I can't believe it's over already.
I know, it went by fast, huh?
It does. Flies by.
So, I know you guys were in the, at the Final Four watching that, but had you watched any of the tournament prior to that?
After we lost the first round, I took a week off and didn't try to turn on the TV a little bit. But no, I got pretty much back into it after Sweet 16 and got pretty pumped up for watching the teams.
And I know I don't want to, invoke bad memories, but are you over that Miami loss yet? Will you ever be over it?
I don't think you'll ever get over, losing in the NCAA tournament. But for us, we kind of look at it as it's not going to be a failure if we learn from it. It was a great experience for us to go down there, have the higher seed, and have some pressure on us. I think next year we're going to have to play with the target on our back. So that was the first time we had to do that we were the higher ranked team. So it's great exposure, great experience for us, and I know we'll learn from it.
I want to go back to the start of the season. Coming into the year, I remember talking to you and Alizé, and there seemed to just be kind of a confidence around your program. Did you guys feel that coming in, that this year was going to be something special?
We had very high goals from the moment we lost last year to Seton Hall, and we knew that our goal was going to be to win the Big East championship. And so every workout that we had from that moment forward, we were all on the same page. We were all working towards the same goal, and we're just doing it together. So I think we expected to be there. I don't know if everybody else expected, but for us, that was the goal all along.
Yeah. And did you think your team would take this big of a step?
Yeah, I believed in them. I believed in my staff. And, for me, it's the first year that we were all together as a team. It was more so teaching how to, work hard, learning great habits, and kind of changing the culture a little bit. So this last year, once we fixed that year one, year two with this particular group was more so about chemistry. It was more so about X's and O's and teaching versus, work habits. So for us, we took a big jump, but it was from the outsider's perspective. For me, the biggest jump we took was year one with this group.
So this team was ready to make that next step.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, year two is when it's fun, is you can, implement what you learned. And I think that our current sophomore class logged so many minutes their freshman year that was invaluable. Whether we won or lost, they were getting so much great learning experience just from those tight games, and I think it really helped them this year.
For you kind of coming in and having taken over the program, how helpful was it to have such a quality freshman, now obviously sophomore class, to really learn and develop? Yeah,
we got really lucky, with our recruiting class, and I give a lot of credit to my staff, but with Alizé, Amani, and Natisha all right here, in the state of Wisconsin really helped. And the fact that they had played together before, they knew each other's game, I think was a really big plus for us. But, for us, it was their chemistry that was unique. They came in, the group that came in together, some of them had played together, some of them hadn't, but the way that they came together so quickly and just rallied around each other, and with, Chantel and Michaela leading them, as upperclassmen, it was just the perfect scenario.
So jumping back to the season, you guys have back-to-back wins over top 25 teams in Oregon State and Arizona State. What did those victories do for your confidence?
I think it was huge because last year we lost both those games. So for us to know all the hard work that we put in the summer paid off. That Oregon State game, I think that was the turning point. To be able to go into their house in that environment and be able to pull off the win the way that we did. We looked like veterans out there. We made every right decision down the stretch. We had falls to give at the end. We played the game almost flawlessly in the last 4 minutes. And I think for me as a coach, that gave me a confidence booster that everything that we've taught the previous 2 years, they soaked in.
I'm doing something right.
They soaked in, and they have, retained it. And for the players, I think that it was just that aha moment that they're like, wow, we are here. We have arrived. We're not, necessarily where we want to be yet, but this is the start.
And you guys did also have, you obviously had those amazing wins, but there was a couple losses along the season against Providence especially, where it was games you guys probably should have won. How'd you make sure your team wasn't too focused on tough losses like that and were more focused on wins like Oregon State and Arizona State? Well,
I think what we're trying to learn how to do is try to be as confident as possible while staying in a perfection mode. We want to be as perfect as we can be on the offensive, defensive end, knowing that you're never going to obtain that. So for us, when we took that hit and we went through a slump per se, it was a moment of, rallying together. It was a moment of refocusing ourselves and really getting back to what got us there in the first place, which was gritty, roll up your sleeves, get to work, dive on the floor for loose balls, don't care who gets the credit. And I think once we got back to that and once we took the weight off our shoulders a little bit, we started to play free again.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever worry that your team wouldn't play as free or would get a little too bogged down in the losses? Because, you still had a very young team overall.
Well, I use this example. with a lot of people all the time. In that moment, Dr. Lovell actually came and spoke to our team in the locker room in that skid, and he motivated the girls. He talked to them about what he saw in them, and the good times, the bad times. And after that motivational speech, we went 8-0 and won the Big East tournament. So whatever he said was right on point, I guess. Key to the success is Dr. Lovell.
Our academic leader, and maybe now our athletic leader as well.
He's the best.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, what is with this team as they kind of progress throughout the season? When did you start realizing, as the season ends, you guys are obviously on a winning streak, we have a chance to really do something heading into the Big East?
Well, I think that second DePaul win, when we beat them here, for us, to beat DePaul 3 times, that's significant and remarkable in its own right. It's unbelievable. Being DePaul was a rival for myself and my teammates growing up, and now kind of to pass the torch on to these girls and let them know that, hey, that's the team we want to beat. Yeah. So I think that second win at home was all about confidence. And when we go and play DePaul, I think our girls know we play a similar style. We know that we're confident when we go to play them. So I think after beating them at our home floor, it rejuvenated us. We got our swag back, as we call it, a little bit. And I think heading into the Big East tournament, there wasn't a doubt in anyone's mind that we were going to cut the nets down. Mm-hmm.
And having it being here, was that extra pressure or was that extra motivation for you guys?
For us, I think it was extra motivation. Honestly, I felt we played a lot more loose than we even played in the NCAA tournament. And I kept telling the team what we did in the Big East tournament, winning 3 back-to-back games at your home floor, was harder than anything we could have done in the NCAA tournament. So for us, I think we handled that pressure flawlessly. I think we were more excited, to play in front of, our fans. And as many students came out in this game, the last 2 games, it was in Creighton and DePaul, the atmosphere was amazing. And I give a lot of credit to our fans. I want to thank the students for coming out because, without them, who knows what would have happened. Our team feeds off energy, our team feeds off atmosphere, and I've never seen it like it was in the L.
I think the DePaul game was the loudest I'd ever heard of this place.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. What was kind of the mindset heading into the Big East tournament? Where you guys did you know you could win the championship?
That was the goal, definitely. And I think we all believed we could, but we kind of took it one game at a time. We played 3 great teams. Georgetown was a very scary team for me. I think they're one of the most athletic teams in the conference. So what we wanted to do is, without getting too focused on cutting the nets down, without getting too focused on being Big East championships, we literally took it one game at a time, and I think that helped our girls just stay composed. Mm-hmm.
You're obviously wearing the shirt today.
I am. I had to rep it.
You had to. You can't forget it. When you're thinking about that, as you kind of reflected on the season, what do you think about, being able to win the Big East championship here, obviously at your alma mater?
I'm just so proud of my players. I'm so proud of my players and staff. This was 3 years in the making, and anybody who's watched us in the last 3 years knows it didn't happen overnight. And so for us to be able to celebrate on our home floor like that, have Michaela win her last game here, you can't really dream that scenario up as a coach. And you just want it for your players so bad, and for them to see the smile on their faces, them hugging each other, them hugging their parents, looking up into the stands and having it be the environment it was, that's something I will truly never forget.
So you guys head into the tournament, you get the 5 seed. Obviously that wasn't something you guys were really expecting, was it?
No, it wasn't. I believed that we deserved, a 5 or 6, just with our resume and being 6-0 versus top 25 teams. And so I'm thankful the committee, recognized that and gave us the reward of that. I think, like I talked earlier, is we need to learn how to play with pressure. We need to learn how to play with a target on our back, because I would imagine going into the Big East next year we'll be ranked 1 or 2. So we need to learn how to play with that. So everything we do in the off season, we're going to put a lot of pressure on the drills and make sure there's a sense of playing through that and getting comfortable being uncomfortable.
You think that 5 seed in some way did hurt you guys a little bit, make you a little overconfident?
I don't know if overconfident. I don't think we were ever overconfident in the NCAA tournament. I think more about maybe nerves. We'd never been there before, first-time experience, first-time jitters. So now that we got that out of their way, and everybody knows what the NCAA tournament is, we're looking for big things next year.
Yeah. Heading down to Miami for you guys, what was the mindset heading into that game against Quinnipiac? Did you feel ready for that game?
I do. I think we were ready game plan. I think in the locker room beforehand we were ready. I think it's one of those situations that no matter what we do in practice, no matter what we do, you can't prepare for that pressure. You can't prepare for the lights going off and seeing that NCAA video for the first time. I think it's something that you got to learn how to play through. And I'm really proud of the way we fought back. We could have folded and we could have it was almost a 19-point lead there at one point, and we fought back. And if we would have had one more minute, or if that ball would have dropped, I truly believe we would have won that game. So for us, as much as that hurt, I think it's really going to motivate us, and I think every workout that we have is going to have that burning desire to get back to there and farther.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to learn from that loss.
Oh,
right?
no doubt,
yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah. And that is, when you bring that out, that ball was halfway down. I mean, does that keep you up at night sometimes?
It did. Now I'm more so just motivated and hungry to get back to that spot, and just for my players to feel it again. You hate that. You hate that they had to feel that, and to see how they were in the locker room, and you never want that for them. You never want that for your staff, but that's sports, and sometimes you got to go through dark times to be those best days of your life. So for me, we learn from it, we grow from it, and thank God we got this core group coming back together, because there's a lot of danger to be had still.
I know, Big East has to look out, right?
Yes, a lot of people have to look out.
There you go. I like that. So what are you going to remember most from this past season?
Winning the Big East championship on the home floor. Like I said, I don't think I'll ever forget that as long as I coach. This team is special. This team will forever be the first team that said yes to me and my staff. They came when all we had to do was sell them a vision. Now when recruits come, they know that we're Big East champs. They know that we have the ability to player develop and to get where we're supposed to go. This group said yes when I was just selling it to them, on the board, when I was just sitting in their home talking to them about where we're going to go. So to be able to do it with Michaela, Chantel, that stayed loyal, and this group of sophomores, I don't know if there'll ever be a more special group in my heart than this one, and I really mean that.
Yeah. And what is it like for you to see that vision and culture really start to culminate this year? It really feels like what you wanted this program to be really came to fruition this year.
When you take over a program or when you're building something, you have it in your head what it's going to look like. Now, you don't know how long it's going to take to get there. So when you start to see signs and you start to see building blocks, it just reassures you that what you're doing, you're headed on the right path, and all the hard conversations, all the hard moments are worth it. So we're definitely not where I want to be yet. Are we on the way? Absolutely. I want to be a program that's in the top 10, perennially, and I want everybody in the country to know that we're here to stay, and this isn't just a one-hit wonder.
Have you kind of taken a moment to reflect on where you've come in just 3 short years with this program?
For me, I'm pretty intense, so I'm on to the next all the time. So I don't like to sit and think about the past too much. I'm more so pushing on to the future and where we're going to go from here. So, for me, I talk about it all the time with my team is let's not be satisfied with getting to the NCAA tournament, and let's not be satisfied with being Big East champs. Let's repeat. Let's get farther than this program ever has. Let's get to a Sweet 16 and beyond. So that's my mindset right now. One
of the big components to building this culture was in the program was Michaela Jens, your senior this year. How do you try to replicate or replace her leadership?
Yeah. I don't think you can. That's a player and a person who totally embodies what Marquette is all about. Now I think she's passed the torch. I think she's given everything she could possibly give to this team, and I think they really are going to learn from her. And I think they're going to take the reins. But a player like Michaela, you can't replace. You just can't replace her loyalty, her unselfishness, and what she means to me and her teammates. So I think the best part that Michaela is going to give to this program is that she's going to pay it forward. And her players now have to live up to what she did in terms of acting right off the floor, being a great teammate on the floor. So I think they've learned as much as they possibly could from her, and I'm excited to see them carry it on.
And it seems like from everything you guys have said and watching her play, will you guys ever, do you think, have a player like that again in this program?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I definitely hope so. She's been a joy to coach. I think every single one of her teammates loves playing with her. They respect her. I think that's the highest compliment that you can get as a player, is that every single one of your teammates enjoys playing with you and they know that you made them better. So she definitely left her mark, as we like to say, and I'm looking forward to other people in the program trying to be her, trying to be like her.
What are some of the challenges that lay ahead for you?
I think for us is complacency. We got to make sure that we're hungry and that we are not satisfied with winning the Big East championship, that we're not satisfied with making the NCAA tournament. And I don't think we are, but I think that's something that you're always going to fight as a coach, is like, we got here being the underdog. We got here by rolling up our sleeves and being blue collar, and we got to stick with that. We can't get overconfident. We can't get complacent that we won. We got to get a fire in us that, hey, let's stay on top. Let's have everybody try to chase us and keep propelling. I think that's what's been so good about DePaul within the last 15 years, is they've done a remarkable job staying up there. You know, I think it's harder to stay there than it is to get there.
How do you and how do you make sure that when you're kind of staying at the top, you have that underdog mentality?
I think for us, it's just keep setting the bar high. I think for us, it's going to be, the goal is not necessarily to win the Big East every year. The goal is going to be, let's make it to the Final Four. And if I keep pushing that to my players and my staff, well, then we're never going to be satisfied until, you know, we cut those main nets down at the end of the season.
So is the Final Four in reach, do you think, next year?
I do. I don't, you know, necessarily know about when we'll get there or how we're going to get there in terms of next year, but I believe with this group, and I totally think that anything's possible. And I think if we keep progressing and we keep getting better as much as we have in the last 3 years, or as much as we grew this past season, why not? You know, why not us?
And UConn's vulnerable right
exactly.
now, right?
I mean, Mississippi State showed it.
Exactly.
5'5" point guard can get you a lot of places.
So, yeah, that's the key to it. So how ready are you for next season?
I'm ready to start right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if my players are, but no, I think this summer is going to be really enjoyable for us because we're bringing in 2 new freshmen that, you know, we got to intermix to the team. Lauren Van Clunen is going to be able to come with us and actually play now. So for us, it's going to be, let's fix our weaknesses. And this is my favorite time. As much as I love games and I'm a competitor, I absolutely love being in the gym with my players. You know, player development is why I got into coaching in the first place. So this, even though it's the off season, didn't know it's the summer, I really enjoyed this the most. Mm-hmm. You know, it's where you really build relationships with your players and you really build trust and you just get to work.
What are some of the weaknesses that you guys want to address that will be strengths when the season comes around?
We still got to improve our defense.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
So we want to get down opponents' field goal percentage drastically. I want to average more steals. So we're going to tweak some stuff this offseason to make our defense a little bit more aggressive. I think we're going to have a lot more depth next year that's going to help us. You know, those tired minutes or playing through fatigue, I think we're going to be able to mix and match with some lineups that we weren't able to this year. And then obviously, you know, you can never be too balanced on offense, so we just got to keep, you know, perfecting what we're doing. And I think this year the players were a lot more comfortable in the offense than they were year 1, and then I'm looking for that progression year 3. You know, the more you play in the system, they start to learn it and they get more comfortable. You know, less dribbles, more passing, and more assist. So if we keep progressing that way, I'm looking forward to that as the offense evolves.
Who's someone or something the fans should really be looking out for next year that's really who's going to make a big difference, do you think?
Well, I think they saw this year that Amani and Danny King really exploded and got a lot better. I'm looking for those 2 to keep, you know, improving. I think the fans are going to love the freshmen. I really do. I think they're going to step in and I think they're going to not even play right away, impact us right away. So they'll love their tenacity. They're going to fit right in with our style of play. And I think they'll make everybody else on our team better because there's going to be a lot of competition, and I think our chemistry will just really improve around that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm looking forward to next year.
Thank you. I can't wait.
Yeah.